Hi friends, how are you? In this video we are going to learn about the nerve supply, arterial supply, venous drainage and lymphatic drainage of the scalp. Okay, coming to the topic, nerve supply of the scalp. First, sensory supply of the scalp. The scalp on either side, that means each side of the midline, is supplied by 8 sensory nerves, 4 in front of the auricle and 4 behind the auricle. The nerves in front of the auricle are derived from trigeminal nerve, whereas those behind the auricle are derived from the second and third cervical nerves. Once again, sensory supply of the scalp. Sensory supply of the scalp. The scalp on each side of the midline. Scalp on each side of the midline is supplied by 8 sensory nerves. Okay, 4 in front of the auricle and 4 behind the auricle. 4 in front of the auricle and 4 behind the auricle. The nerves in front of the auricle are derived from trigeminal nerve, whereas those behind the auricle are derived from second and third cervical nerves. Okay, if you observe this diagram, sensory nerves are, there are 8 sensory nerves that supply each side. 4 in front of the, this is the auricle, 4 in front of the auricle, 1 2 3 4, and 4 behind the auricle, 1 2 3 4. Okay, and the nerves that supply front of the auricle are derived from the trigeminal nerve. Okay, these are the nerves that derived from the trigeminal nerve, and the nerves that behind the auricle are derived from the second and third cervical nerves. Okay, these are the nerves that derived from the second and third cervical nerves. Okay, coming to the table. This table give more information. In front of the auricle from before backwards. First, supratrochlear, a branch of frontal nerve from ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. First we see what are the nerves that in front of the auricle. Supratrochlear, supraorbital, zygomaticotemporal and auriculotemporal. These are the 4 nerves that in front of the auricle. Supratrochlear, supraorbital, zygomaticotemporal, auriculotemporal. These are the 4 nerves that in front of the auricle. First about supratrochlear. Supratrochlear, a branch of frontal nerve from ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. Next, supraorbital, a branch of frontal nerve from ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. Next, zygomaticotemporal, a branch of zygomatic nerve from maxillary division of trigeminal nerve. Next, auriculotemporal, a branch of mandibular division of trigeminal nerve. Okay, 2 are from ophthalmic division, 1 from maxillary division and 1 from the mandibular division. Supratrochlear and supraorbital are from the ophthalmic division, and zygomaticotemporal from the maxillary division and auriculotemporal from the mandibular division of trigeminal nerve. Okay guys, see the diagram. This is the supratrochleum, supraorbital, zygomaticotemporal, auriculotemporal, supratrochlear and supraorbital from the ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. These both, okay. Next, coming to the zygomaticotemporal. This is from the zygomatic part of maxillary division of trigeminal nerve. This is ophthalmic division and zygomaticotemporal from the maxillary division, okay. And coming to the auriculotemporal. This is from the mandibular division of trigeminal nerve. Next we see the nerves behind the auricle from before backwards. First we see what are the nerves present behind the auricle that supply scalp. Great auricular, lesser occipital, greater occipital, third occipital. 3 occipitals, 1 auricular, okay. Great auricular, next greater, GLGT. First G, next L, next G, next T, okay. You may remember like this. First greater auricular, next L, lesser occipital, next G, it is greater occipital, next T, third occipital, okay. Greater auricular, lesser occipital, third greater occipital, and fourth third occipital. First we see the greater auricular. Great auricular derived from the ventral rami of second and third cervical nerves, okay. Next, lesser occipital derived from the ventral ramus of second and third cervical nerve. Next, greater occipital derived from the dorsal ramus of second cervical nerve. Next, third occipital derived from the dorsal rami of third cervical nerve, okay. If you observe here, these all are derivatives of second and third cervical nerves. 2 are from ventral rami and 2 are from dorsal rami, okay. Coming to the figure, this may give you much clarity. If you observe this figure, these are the 4 nerves. 1, 2 and 3, and this is the 4. These are the 4 nerves that supply the scalp behind the auricle. These are the 4 nerves that supply the scalp, okay. First, what are the 4 nerves? Great auricular, lesser occipital, greater occipital, and last one is the third occipital. First, greater occipital is from the ventral rami. These both, greater auricular as well as the lesser occipital, from the ventral rami of C2. Both have the C2 innervation, but greater auricular has another one also, ventral rami of C3 cervical nerve also, okay. Greater auricular is derived from the ventral rami of C2 and C3 cervical nerves. Lesser occipital derived from the ventral rami of C2, and greater occipital derived from the dorsal. These both, greater and third occipital, derived from the dorsal ones, okay. This most dorsal, if you observe here, this is the most dorsal. You may remember like this: dorsal ramus of C2 cervical nerve, and third occipital 3, third occipital C3, dorsal ramus of C3 cervical nerve, okay. Next, coming to the motor supply. Motor supply of the scalp. The scalp on each side of the midline is supplied by two motor nerves, one in front of the ear and one behind the ear. Both these nerves are derived from the facial nerve. Once again, the scalp on each side of the midline. Scalp on each side of the midline is supplied by motor nerves, one in front of ear and one behind the ear. Both these nerves are derived from the facial nerve. Okay, first nerve in front of the ear is temporal branch of facial nerve. It supplies the frontal belly of occipitofrontalis muscle. I already explained this in before video. In nerve supply of occipitofrontalis muscle. Okay. And next one is now behind the ear. Now behind the ear is the posterior auricular branch of the facial nerve. It supplies the occipital belly of occipitofrontalis muscle. Okay, coming to the figure. This figure helps you to understand the motor supply of the scalp. This is the both temporal branch of the motor supply of the scalp is from the facial nerve branches. First, this is the temporal branch of facial nerve and this is the posterior auricular branch of facial nerve. Okay. This both supplies the motor supply to the scalp. One in front of the auricle, another behind the auricle. This temporal branch of facial nerve supplies the frontal bellies of occipitofrontalis muscle. These are the frontal bellies of occipitofrontalis muscle. This temporal branch of facial nerve supplies the frontal bellies of occipitofrontalis muscle. Next, coming to the posterior auricular branch of facial nerve. This is present behind the auricle and this supplies the occipital bellies of occipitofrontalis muscle. Clear, guys? Next, coming to the arterial supply. The scalp has very rich blood supply. On each side of midline, it is supplied by 5 arteries, 3 in front of the auricle and 2 behind the auricle. The scalp has very rich blood supply on each side of midline. It is supplied by 5 arteries, 3 in front of the auricle and 2 behind the auricle. First, site of entry of arteries in the scalp. First, about supratrochlear artery. Supratrochlear artery enters the scalp around the supraorbital margin, 1 finger breadth and lateral to midline. Supratrochlear artery enters the scalp around supraorbital margin, 1 finger breadth lateral to the midline. If you observe this diagram, this is the supratrochlear artery and this enters the scalp around supraorbital line, breadth 1 and breadth 1 finger lateral to the midline. This is the midline and this is the supratrochlear artery, and this enters the scalp 1 finger breadth lateral to the this midline. Okay, next around the supraorbital margin. Next is supraorbital artery. Supraorbital artery enters the scalp through supraorbital notch 2 to 3 centimeters lateral to supratrochlear artery. Once again, supraorbital artery enters the scalp through supraorbital notch 2 to 3 centimeters lateral to supratrochlear artery. If you observe this diagram, this is the supraorbital artery. This is the supraorbital artery. This is the supratrochlear artery. Supraorbital artery. This supraorbital artery enters through the supraorbital notch, and this is 2 to 3 centimeters lateral to supratrochlear artery. If you observe here, this is the 2 to 3 centimeters lateral to supraorbital artery is 2 to 3 centimeters lateral to the supratrochlear artery. Clear? Next, superficial temporal artery, the smaller terminal branch of external carotid. Superficial temporal artery, the smaller terminal branch of external carotid artery, enters the scalp in front of the root of zygoma and divides into anterior and posterior branches. Superficial temporal artery, the smaller terminal branch of external carotid. Superficial temporal artery enters the scalp in front of root of zygoma and divides into those anterior and posterior branches. If you observe here, this is the superficial temporal artery. This is the small terminal branch of external carotid artery. Superficial temporal artery is a small terminal branch of external carotid artery, and it's divided into the anterior and posterior branches. This is the anterior and this is the posterior branches. Okay, and it enters the scalp through the root of the zygoma. We call this as root of zygoma. Okay, this is the small terminal branch of external carotid artery, and it's divided into the anterior and posterior terminal branches. Okay guys, next, posterior auricular artery. It enters the scalp behind the root of the ear. If you observe here, this is the posterior auricular artery. This enters the scalp behind the ear. Okay, next, occipital artery. Occipital artery enters the scalp midway between the ear and external occipital protuberance. Occipital artery enters scalp midway between the ear and external occipital protuberance. If you observe here, this is the occipital artery. It enters the skull midway between the ear external occipital protuberance is present. This is the ear. It enters the scalp midway between the external occipital protuberance and ear. Okay. What are the 5 arteries that supply scalp? There are 5 arteries. 3 in front of the auricle and 3 and 2 behind the auricle. What are the 3 arteries that present front of the auricle? 3 are present. First one, supratrochlear, supraorbital and superficial temporal artery. And superficial temporal artery is the small terminal branch of external carotid artery. And the arteries that enter scalp behind the auricle are posterior auricular artery and occipital artery. Okay, clear? Supratrochlear, supraorbital, superficial temporal, and this is the posterior auricular artery, and this is the occipital artery. Next, coming to the venous drainage. Here is note, guys. The first 2 arteries are the branches of ophthalmic artery from internal carotid artery, while later 3 are the branches of external carotid artery. The first 2 arteries are the branches of, that means supratrochlear and supraorbital are branches of ophthalmic artery from internal carotid artery, while other 3, what are they? Superior temporal artery, posterior auricular and occipital. These are the 3 arteries are the branches of external carotid artery. The arteries of one side freely anastomose with each other. There is also cross anastomosis between the arteries of 2 sides. Thus, the scalp is also the site of potential collateral circulation between the external and internal carotid arteries. You may observe so many anastomoses, so many connections. Not only one side, the both sides of the arteries are connected here. So we say there is the collateral circulation between thus the scalp is also site for the potential collateral circulation between the external and internal carotid arteries. Next, coming to the venous drainage. The scalp on each side of the midline is drained by 5 veins. The veins of the scalp accompany the arteries and have similar names. These are as follows. So it is easy for you. Supratrochlear and supraorbital veins. They join each other at the median angle of the eye to form the angular vein, which continues downward as facial vein behind the facial artery. These supratrochlear and supraorbital vein join each other at medial angle of eye to form angular vein, which continues downward as facial vein behind the facial artery. Next, superficial temporal vein. It descends in front of the tragus to enter the parotid gland, where it joins the maxillary vein to form the retromandibular vein. This retromandibular vein is formed by joining of superficial temporal vein and maxillary vein, which terminates by divided into anterior and posterior divisions. The anterior division of retromandibular vein unites with facial vein to form the common facial vein. which drains into the internal jugular vein. Once again, this retromandibular vein is formed by joining of superficial temporal vein and maxillary vein. This retromandibular vein divides into anterior and posterior divisions. This anterior division is united with facial vein to form the common facial vein, which drain into the internal jugular vein. Okay. You may see here how the facial vein is formed. It is formed by joining of supratrochlear and supraorbital veins. Next, coming to the posterior auricular veins. It descends behind the auricle and unites with the posterior division of retromandibular vein to form the external jugular vein, which drain into the subclavian vein. How the external jugular vein is formed? It is formed by joining of posterior auricular vein and posterior division of retromandibular vein and forms the external jugular vein. This external jugular vein drain into the subclavian vein. Next, occipital vein. It terminates in the suboccipital venous fluxus. The veins of the scalp communicate with intracranial dural venous sinus through emissary veins. These emissary veins are present mostly in the fourth layer, okay, that is loose areolar tissue. This is most important point. These emissary veins connects the veins, that means veins in the connective tissue that is in second layer with the dural venous sinus, intracranial dural venous sinus. Okay. Next, emissary veins. The veins connecting the veins outside the cranium with the intracranial dural sinuses by passing through the foramina in the cranium is called emissary veins. The veins connecting the veins outside the cranium with the intracranial dural venous sinuses by passing through the foramina in the cranium are called emissary veins. That means these emissary veins connect the veins outside the cranium with the intracranial dural venous sinuses by passing through foramina in the cranium. Next, emissary veins in the region of the scalp. On each side of the midline in the region of the scalp, two sets of emissary veins are encountered. First, parietal emissary vein, mastoid emissary vein. First, parietal emissary vein, which passes through parietal foramen and communicates with superior sagittal sinus. Parietal emissary vein, which passes through the parietal foramen. It is passes to the parietal foramen, so it called as parietal emissary vein, and this vein communicates the superior sagittal sinus. Next, coming to the mastoid emissary vein. It passes through the mastoid foramen and communicates with sigmoid sinus. Okay. Parietal superior sagittal sinus, mastoid communicates sigmoid sinus, sagittal sigmoid. Next, coming to the lymphatic drainage. The lymphatics from anterior part of the scalp, except the lower half of the forehead, drain into the preauricular lymph nodes. We call this preauricular, also called superficial parotid lymph nodes, situated on the surface of parotid gland, and the lymphatics from posterior part of scalp drain into the posterior auricular or mastoid and occipital lymph nodes. Anterior part of the scalp drain into the preauricular lymph nodes that is situated on the surface of parotid gland. So we call these lymph nodes also called superficial parotid lymph nodes, and the posterior part of the scalp drain into the mastoid, also called posterior auricular and occipital lymph nodes. Posterior auricular and occipital lymph nodes. Okay. If you like this video, like, share and subscribe. Thank you.